Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. All right, so I posted up a question earlier and I said, let me take my glasses off, the glare on real bad. I posted up a question earlier and said, if you had a choice between A or B, which would you do? All right, so if you could invest $1,500 and get a $250 a month return, would you do that every month? Or would you invest $10 and get a $15,000 return in 8 weeks? All right. So I'm going to tell you that I've done both of those deals. Okay. The second piece of land I ever bought was $1,500 and I rented the driveway to that land for $250 a month. I'm going to show you how I did that. And then one of the very first lease option deals that I did, I invested $10 and sold that house. I had a vested interest in the house and I sold it in 8 weeks and got a check for $15,000. All right. So I've done both of those ways, but tonight I want to show you how I bought a piece of land for $1,500 and how I'm able to make money on it every single month without any expenses. Okay, because I talk to a lot of people who are ready to get started in real estate investing, but they're really scared that somebody's going to punch a hole in their sheetrock or somebody is going to leave them in the middle of the night and nobody will be there to make the payments in the next month. Well, if you don't have any sheetrock and if you own the property free and clear, you don't have either one of those problems, right? Right. Hey, everybody, we got a nice big crowd tonight. All right, so I'll tell you, this is what I did. This is how I found this piece of land. All right, and this is how you can go find land too. And this is seriously, this is a half-acre piece of industrial land, which I might need to explain the pyramid to you. Let's do that. Let's talk about the real estate pyramid, okay? So, like any good pyramid, there's levels to the pyramid, right? On the bottom level, this is agricultural land. Agricultural. When Christopher Columbus or whoever came over and found this place, everything was agricultural. Everything was used to grow crops and cattle, all right? Agricultural. Growing stuff to eat, all right? And then the next layer up is residential. Residential land is where houses are, it's where neighborhoods are, it's where subdivisions are, it's where most people live. When you buy a single family residential house, you are on a residential piece of land, all right? And residential goes up to 4 units. So a single family lives in this house, it's a duplex, it's a triplex, or it's a quadplex. So up to 4 units in residential. Then the next layer up is commercial. Commercial land is where McDonald's is. Your doctor's office is on commercial land. Your real estate firm is on commercial land. Your accountant is housed in a commercial building, okay? When I think about commercial, I think about anything that somebody owns solely to make money, all right? Apartments are also commercial. Storage units are commercial. Trailer parks are commercial. Now, you might know somebody that owns an apartment complex or a trailer park and they live there, but for the most part, that thing is there to make money. McDonald's is on commercial land because McDonald's is there to make money. They're not in the hamburger business. They're in the real estate business. They're on every corner, right? They're in the real estate business. So commercial land is there to make money. The top of the pyramid is industrial land. All right? Industrial land is up at the tip top of the pyramid because it is usually the highest taxed land. It is usually the least regulated land. Industrial could be an industrial park where they manufacture things. Maybe they make boats there. Maybe they make cars on industrial land. Landfills are on industrial land. Heavy-duty machinery shops are on industrial land. Outside storage is industrial land. So there's four different categories, four different basic categories that they break land into, and then you put buildings on top of it. All right. So when I say I invested $1,500 in land, it's very important that you know that I put $1,500 into industrial land. Okay. I basically put pennies on the dollar into the highest bracket on the pyramid for land. All right. And it was $1,500. That's it. All right. It wasn't my lunch money. It wasn't anything that I needed to live on or make my mortgage payment. It was just $1,500. So how did I find this industrial land? Anybody can do this. I highly encourage you to do this. Go to the Googler or Yahoo or Bing or search engine of your choice. I do not care which one, and type in real estate auctioneer near me, real estate auction in my city, real estate auctions coming up soon. All right. And the first thing that's going to pop up is auction.com, which is the government's third-party provider of selling foreclosures via auction. I say that very loosely. All right. But auction.com is going to pay a lot of money to rank really high when you type in real estate auctions near me. What I want you to do, and what my auctioneering friends want you to do, is we want you to find the mom and pop auctioneer. We want you to find the local auctioneer in your city, in your state, who goes out and they auction properties from estates. If somebody has a family member that passes, a lot of auctioneers will do estate auctions, and they'll sell all the stuff and they'll sell the property in one big Saturday sale. All right. They'll pitch a tent in the front yard and hang out all day and feed you hot dogs. They'll love it. Every once in a while, a real estate auctioneer near you, when you go and you find them, sign up for their email list. They will send you emails every time they have a real estate auction coming up, and you can just go through there and decide if this auction is in your honey hole, if it's something that you're interested in, or you can just go and hang out on a Saturday and kind of learn, get a feel for the vibe of an auction. All right. But that's what I did. I am on a lot of email lists for a lot of auctioneers around me. And when they have an auction of any kind of property or land in my honey hole, I find out about it. I drive by, I check it out, I do some research. But back in 2013, and I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know how to do the research, I didn't know how to pull any comps. I just knew that if they sold anything in my area of town, I wanted to know about it so I could bid on it. And that's what I did. All right. They, a local auctioneer company that I worked for at the time, PAL Auction, they had a real estate auction coming up. There was a half-acre piece of industrial land up at the top of the pyramid, half-acre piece of industrial land that came up for auction. What had happened was a mother had a house on this piece of property, and then she moved in with her daughter, and she lived with her daughter for like 20 years. So the house just disappeared. I don't know if they tore it down or somebody tore it down. I don't know, but there wasn't a house there when I got it. And it was already zoned industrial when I got it. And so when I got this property, I bought the property at the auction. It was an online auction. I didn't even have to go to the Saturday sale. I just put my bid in online and said, let's see what happens. Okay. So the mom and daughter had decided that they just didn't want this land anymore. They were tired of paying taxes on it. So they sold it at absolute auction. An absolute auction is what you're looking for when you look for auctions, because that means it is absolutely going to sell today or whatever day the auction is at this time. If it just says auction, there might be a reserve. If it says foreclosure auction, then the bank is going to have to approve the auction price. But if it says absolute auction, it is absolutely going to sell right here, right now, whatever time it is, whatever day it is, the highest bid gets it. That's what an absolute auction means. Okay. So this property came up on Prosser Road in Knoxville. And I put in a bid of $1,400 before I went to bed that night. And this auction was supposed to end at like midnight. And maybe I put in $1,500 and the final price was $14. And then we had to pay, yeah, I think that's how it was. Hold on, timeout, live action. Okay, I put in my final bid at $1,500 and I went to bed and just said, all right, we'll see what happens. Okay, so the next morning I woke up and I had an email from Justin that said, congratulations, you've won the lot on Prosser Road that ended last night at midnight. Your final bid price was like $13.75 or something. And then we added on 10% buyer's premium, which would have been like $100 and some odd dollars. And there was taxes and closings and whatever, all in, all done. My HUD statement, my settlement statement said that I paid like $1,586.36. Right shy, I mean, just barely under $1,600. That's $1,586. My mom would call that $1,600 because that's how she rounds up. Okay, so I bought this lot on Prosser Road, industrial property up at the top of the podium, top of the pyramid, for $1,586.36. It was all mine. This was not a tax sale. This was not a fire sale. This was not anything weird. This was, I actually got the title to the property like the next week because it was only $1,500. And now the land is mine. Okay, and we closed on this thing in like July of 13. So fast forward a couple months, and this was 2013. So I'm like helping my parents flip houses. I'm trying to buy some other things. Later that summer, I bought 2 other houses at auction. Auctions are very fun, and you start buying stuff, and then it starts to be really, really fun. So anyway, I was downtown in the city county building in Knoxville, and I was just kind of flirting with the codes inspectors, you know, just hanging out, seeing what they knew, seeing what was going on. No big deal. And I just mentioned that I'd bought this lot in the city of Knoxville for $1,500, and I said, hey, y'all know anything about this? It's just trees and grass. That's all I really knew about it. And they were like, I don't know, let's see what we can find out here. So they started, you know, pecking away on the computers and seeing what they come up with, and they said, oh my gosh, Whitney, you're not going to believe this. Back in 1992, that driveway that separates your land from your neighbor's land, that driveway used to be a road. And in 1992, the city decided that they didn't want to keep that road up anymore. They didn't want to pave it. They didn't want to have to snow scrape it for the one snow we get in Knoxville every year. They didn't want to deal with it at all. So what the city did is they went and looked at the road, and they said, you know what, we're just going to throw a line straight down the middle of it and give the right side to me, is what eventually happened. I didn't have it in 1992 because I was 8 and not paying attention to real estate. But they gave the left side of it to my neighbor. And my neighbor is a Fortune 500 company. They have a contract with the city of Knoxville to handle all of the recycling. They pick up all the recycling, they bring it back to this place, they squish it down, make it into a cube, and then they ship it off to wherever you take recycling stuff to have it sorted, or I don't even know what. So they have trucks driving on this driveway all day, every day, just back and forth on this driveway, because this driveway connects the back of their facility to the main road. So they just drive up and down all day long, 18-wheelers in and out of this driveway. Once the codes guys told me that half of that driveway was mine, you better believe I took my sassy pants over and knocked on the, Fortune 500 guy's door, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. Turns out you're driving on my driveway over here, and I want to be paid back rent. I want to be compensated for you driving on my land, man. And this guy was very nice, and he tried not to talk to me, like down his nose, which he probably had a lot of ideas about this little me bebopping into his office and being like, pay me. So I did, though, and he said, no, little real estate girl, that's just not possible. We've been driving on this driveway since before 1992. If that would have happened, somebody would have told us sometime or another, and that's just not possible. And I said, all right, fine. You get it surveyed and let me know what you find out. And he said, okay, I'll call you. Sure. So I didn't think very much about it. I just kind of left it right there, went on about my business and trucking and whatever else I was doing. And in about 2 weeks, his secretary called me, and she was like, yes, Miss Nicely? And I said, yes. She said, yeah, this is so-and-so over off Prosser Road, and we have recently had our land surveyed, and it turns out that half of this driveway is yours, and we would like to pay you rent every month. And I was like, score! Yes! So I was like, oh, no. Play it calm, Whit. Play it calm. I was like, oh, really? And how much would you like to pay me every month? And she was like, we're figuring that we could pay you about $250 every single month. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But my dad used to flip cars. My mom is a solid negotiator. My papa had more deals going on than Monty Hall, so I knew not to take the very first offer, even though it was really freaking good, right? So I said, okay, that's fine. $250 a month is fine, but I want you to take on all the responsibility for maintenance of the driveway. If there's a pothole or something, don't call me. I mean, call my mom. She's got a gravel pit. She can bring you some rocks, but don't call me to come fill a pothole. And, if a tree falls or you need snow cleared or, whatever happens with this driveway, you take care of it. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I want you to pay my property taxes every year. I think it's going to be about $50 a year, but I want you to pay that once a year, reimburse me for that once a year on this property. And she was like, okay, that's fine. So this is like November. And remember, I bought the property. I closed on the property in July. So I said to her, all right, you give me $250 a month. You give me, you take all the maintenance of the property and you pay my property taxes every year. The last thing I want, and I was really pushing it. I felt like I was really pushing it at this point, right? I was like, I want you to pay me back rent since the time that I bought the property back in July. And she was like, okay. Y'all, I ended up getting a check in December. She sent me one check in December to pay up 6 months of rent. And I don't know if anybody is a mathematician. Like, I'm not good at math at all. I had a tutor all through high school and college just to get me through math. But $250 a month times 6 months is how much? They agreed to pay me $250 a month and pay me back rent for 6 months. I'll wait. How much is that? $1,500 a month, y'all. All right? $250 times 6. That's $1,500. She sent me a check for $1,500 in December. Okay, so this is July. And in December, she sent me a check for that. That meant I had $86 in this property. And in January, when she paid the $250 a month, I was free and clear. I was back in the black. I've had this property paid off free and clear since January of 2014. And yes, it brings me $250 a month. And no, I know that's not going to like set your tail on fire. You're not going to be able to retire on $250 a month. But $250 a month was enough to make my brain flip on to say, I can do this. I can be a real estate investor. I can make smart investing decisions. I can negotiate with Fortune 500 companies, and I can win. $250 a month would make some of your car payments for you. $250 a month would make your hair and nails and massage appointments every month. $250 a month on top of what you pay for your mortgage already would have you paying off your primary house probably like, I don't know, 5 or 10 or 15 years sooner. $250 a month throws one heck of a party, a Super Bowl party, a St. Patrick's Day party, an Easter party. It throws one heck of a party for your friends and family every single month. Or $250 a month can pay for you and your honey to go, on a little mini vacay and use your, points, and then use your $250 to go out and have a good time once a month. All right. $250 a month is not going to be enough to set your pants on fire. But think about it like this. If you keep that $250 every single month, what is $250 times 12? $250 times 6 was $1,500. So $250 times 12 is going to be $3,000. So if I can buy a half-acre piece of industrial land for $1,500, I should be able to buy a full acre for $3,000 every year. And if I can collect $250 a month on a half acre, I ought to be able to collect $500 a month on a full acre, right? And if you keep $250 and $500 for a year, now we got what? A lot more money. And it keeps compounding and compounding and compounding until you're making $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month on land that you have free and clear every single month. And yeah, it might take you 3 or 4 years to get there. But in 3 or 4 years, would you be happy with an extra 3 or 4 or 5,000 every month coming in? Some of you could quit your job if you had $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month coming in that you didn't have to clock in for. So yeah, $250 a month isn't gonna, make anybody a millionaire anytime soon, but it might be the flip in your head that you needed, like I needed, to know that I could do this, and to know that this was real, and to know that this wasn't some make-believe something that people were just pitching. So that's exactly my story of how I invested $1,500, almost $1,600, and collected $250 a month. Still collect $250 a month every single month with no expenses. And you want to know the best part of this land deal? Still get $250 a month off the driveway, but on that half-acre piece of land, remember when I told you that the top of the pyramid here, you could have outside storage? Well, you know those dumpsters that go to job sites when you're flipping a house? Those big can dumpsters. When those things aren't at a job site helping somebody flip a house, they have to sleep somewhere. So my brother, Tyler, found somebody that needed a place for his dumpsters to sleep at night when they weren't working. And now we make $500 a month off that chunk of land. No fence, no gravel, no office, no expenses. And we get $250 a month on the driveway. $750 a month for a $1,500 investment. pretty good, isn't it? I can teach you how to do this. You can watch this video if you want to. I can teach you how to do this with houses also. About houses with $10, $100, or $1,500. It's totally cool. If you want to book a call with me, you can hit the link below, or you can go to, whitneyknoxley.com/schedule. We'll hop on a call. We'll hang out. We'll talk about where you are in real estate, where you're wanting to go in real estate, and how we can get you there. Because I did this with no plan, no strategy. I didn't have to have a license to do this. I didn't have to have some special degree or anything to do this. This was a public, absolute auction. And those are happening around you also. All right, y'all let me know if you have any questions, or go to whitneyknoxley.com/schedule, and we'll talk about what I can do to help you get started investing. Because there's deals out there and there's sellers that need you. And I'm going to help you find them. All right. Y'all have a great night. Talk to you later. Book a call.